They always get me on that one. I was waiting. She took longer. Mabel took a little bit longer to announce herself. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today in our business information meeting about this upcoming opportunity about airport advertising program. It's a really exciting one for us as we want to make sure it takes shape of the advertising for our airport system. My name is Roxanne Favors. I serve as the Chief Revenue Officer for the City of Phoenix Aviation Department. In this role, I have strategic oversight of strategies to drive airport revenue, and that ranges from our food and beverage, our retailers, our advertising, to parking, to rent-a-car services, anything that makes money except for ground transportation. I always like to point that out. This really ensures that we have a really sustainable revenue base to support our sustainable growth across our aviation system. Additionally, I have strategic leadership over some of the key teams that are here today. That includes our Business and Properties Division, which manages our advertising concession opportunity, as well as our Procurement and Compliance Services, formerly known as Contracts and Services. That is the team that will oversee the actual procurement of this opportunity, and including two other really exciting programs we have here at Sky Harbor Airport, including our Strategic Air Service and our Strategic Land Acquisition, all fall underneath my business portfolios. First, I want to express my thank you and appreciation for you coming today. I know we've held multiple business information meetings. It's really important for us to be able to share with the industry what our thinking is, to hear back from you. So thank you for those that came to all the individual business information meetings, so that our goal is always to put together a very viable business opportunity, both for the selected vendor as well as for the airport. And we know that that is a unique balance that's there. So today's session, we're going to share the updates that came out of those conversations that we've had across our business information meetings. We want to be able to leave here with clear goals that you kind of understand as your companies what we, the airport, are looking for in this opportunity. I believe this is our final business information meeting. You will get updates to the timeline as well that we see on the solicitation through this particular business update. At this time, I'm then going to turn it over to Jeff Stapleton. He will take you through the actual update. There's going to be some recaps of what we've had before. Again, every time that we do one of these, we do put this up on our website, so we want to make sure that we're bringing everybody along. If this is the only business information presentation that they see, they're seeing the latest and the greatest, but it also includes what we previously had discussed. So I will turn it over to Jeff Stapleton. Jeff, you want to introduce yourself? And we'll get going. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Jeff Stapleton, Deputy Aviation Director over the Business and Properties Division with the City of Phoenix Aviation Department. I'll walk you through some housekeeping announcements for today's BIM meeting, and then head into the agenda. So please put your questions into the chat, and we will answer those questions following the presentation. If you'd like information or materials on today's presentation and the recording of today's meeting, please scan that QR code and you'll be able to obtain that information following the presentation. As we do note, everything is subject to change until the RCS is posted to OpenGov. So today's agenda, we will cover an overview of the current program, kind of the vision for the solicitation, our goals. We'll talk about the RCS opportunity more specifically. There will also be a presentation on business engagement and small business outreach requirements. That'll be followed by answering the questions in the Q&A session. For this procurement, we anticipate that it will be posted in October of this year. That'll be shortly followed by a pre-proposal meeting. We are looking for the proposals to be due in December before the end of the year. We would then proceed with council approvals next year, with the contract starting in the middle of 2027.
Jeff, before you go to your next slide, we are mindful of that December due date proposal, so we will make that prior to the holiday season. We too like to be able to go away for our holidays and not have to review proposals. So we'll be very mindful of what date we put in December for those.
So the current program, the current provider is Lamar Alliance Airport Advertising. They have 51 digital displays, 97 static locations, 43 wall wraps, and a brochure program. The current locations are heavily focused at Phoenix Sky Harbor, but also at the Rental Car Center. We also have some locations at Deer Valley and Goodyear Airport, which are managed by the Aviation Department. The current provider can present sponsorship requests to the Aviation Department at our approval. This is kind of a look and feel of the displays that are currently part of our program. There you see some wall wraps, digital displays, the spectaculars at the high catchment areas for foot traffic, and then an example of a sponsorship opportunity or a special event opportunity for the NASCAR event that we had here in Phoenix. Where we're looking to go with the program under through this RCS, we're looking at indoor and outdoor spaces, non-exclusive sponsorship opportunities. We want an investment in more cutting-edge technology and equipment. We really want to elevate the passenger experience. We want something that is more experiential and engaging for our passengers and guests. And of course, we want alignment with industry best practices that we see at large hub airports. Other goals for the solicitation, we'd like to create a sense of place. We want a program that showcases the unique identity of Phoenix, that promotes our local businesses, tourism, and a rich cultural heritage. We know that the program needs to have brand diversity that balances national brands as well as regional local brands. And then again, we want something that enhances the passenger and guest experience, something that is experiential, displays that are innovative, that engage the passenger. And then of course, lastly, being able to maximize revenue generation. Responsibilities through the scope of work for the successful proposer, removal installation of all advertising equipment, maintenance of the advertising infrastructure, including those for sponsorships, operating the program. This includes sponsorships as well. And then if there are any upgrades of the equipment, that would be the responsibility of the successful proposer as well. And then we're looking for comprehensive, proactive management of the program to be able to grow the program and of course, maximize those revenue opportunities through the program. The proposed locations, they will be heavily focused at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, as well as the Rental Car Center and the SkyTrain platforms. Also, we will have locations at Deer Valley and Goodyear Airport. Here's the proposed evaluation criteria. We're looking at qualification experience of the proposer, the quality of the program, the operation, the plan for operations, business and marketing, your transition and mobilization plan, methodology for your sponsorship program, and then of course, financial return to the Aviation Department. There are two packages that will be part of the RCS. We'll talk about package A, which we consider the base package. These are defined locations that will be included in an exhibit in the RCS. This will note opportunities for digital or static locations, sponsorship locations, special event locations. You will be evaluated on this package. And then any approved locations must be activated at the start of the contract. Then we have the optional package B. So this is the opportunity for proposers to show your creativity, find other unique locations where you may want to deploy more innovative solutions. These are locations that are not included in package A. We will take those under consideration and we will either approve or deny those locations. The ones that we do approve, they'll be incorporated into the program, and similar to package A, they will be expected to be delivered upon commencement. During the business information meetings back in February, many interested parties highlighted the West Terminal and how that would be handled through the RCS process. Nothing has changed regarding the timing of the West Terminal. Is anticipated to be open in 2033. What we are going to look for through the RCS is the capacity to be able to negotiate with the successful proposer on the appropriate level of capital investment and the minimum annual guarantee when it is time to incorporate the West Terminal into the advertising program. You will not be expected to propose anything on the West Terminal as far as locations, because those haven't been identified. We don't know the scale and scope of the terminal at this time, so you won't be evaluated on that component of the RCS. But to be able to incorporate the West Terminal into the program, what we have done is we are recommending to increase the initial term to 12 years with a 1 year, with one 3-year renewal option. That is above and beyond what we had received original council authority for. So we are going back to the city council next month to receive authority for this kind of aggregate 15 years. For the initial capital investment, we are looking for the successful proposer to invest $5 million at a minimum, so it could be at 5 or above. Then when it's time to do that midterm capital reinvestment, we are looking at 20% of that proposed capital investment. So that's 20% or more, at least 20% or more. And then as far as the rental revenue structure, it's 65% gross sales, that's static or digital, 65% on both, or a $5 million minimum annual guarantee. And proposers can bid above on both of those amounts. And then I'll turn it over to Sarah Morato, our Small Business Engagement Manager, who will highlight more events and resources associated with this procurement.
Thank you, Jeff. As he mentioned, my name is Sarah Morato. I'm the Small Business Engagement Manager, and my team oversees the outreach and coordination of events for small businesses that are interested in working at our 3 airports, like this event today. So before we move on to the Equal Opportunity Department's slides, I quickly wanted to share some information about previous events and some business resources. All right, so today, like Roxanne mentioned, is the last business information meeting that we have planned for Airport Advertising Services, RCS. We did have 3 other sessions. So back in January, we had the general business information meeting that happened on the 26th. And then in February, we had 2 days of individual business information meetings. Those have all passed. And like she mentioned, we use that to help gather feedback and make some adjustments as were presented just now. And then here are some business resources that, and we will be sending this out, so feel free to take pictures, but you will get this in an email next week. So the first one there is the Aviation Outreach website. That is where you can find out about upcoming events that we have going on. But in addition to that, we also post information about previous events that we've hosted, so you can find the attendee lists, recordings, questions, things of that nature for previous events that we've had. And that's where you'll find that for this session today. So we'll have that up on that website within 72 business hours. We'll also send you an email once that's available so that you know how to access it. And then the second link there is our business website. Lots of great information there, like opportunities, our security and badging process, and much more. So be sure to check that out. On the bottom left, we have our aviation interest list. If you want to stay connected with us, that's the best way to do it. You can visit that QR code and get signed up, and we'll send you emails anytime we have outreach events going on or any of the solicitations that are going to be posted. And then the last link there is our city's procurement website. It is the best place to go to learn about how to get registered as a vendor. And once you're registered as a vendor, you can bid on any citywide contracts, and you can also receive updates when solicitations post, not just for our department, but for any of the city departments. And then lastly, if that doesn't answer your questions, you can reach out to us at the contact information listed there. And now I'm going to lead this, I'm going to hand over to the city's Equal Opportunity Department. We partner with them to manage our federal ACDBE and DBE programs, as well as the city's local SBE program. So I'd like to introduce John Eastless. He's our Contracts Compliance Lead with the Equal Opportunity Department. And John works very closely on matters with us, such as small business compliance, monitoring, and outreach. So thank you for being with us today, John.
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, everyone, and thank you again for being here. I'm going to go ahead and give a brief overview of the requirements for small business outreach. The City of Phoenix is committed to supporting the economic growth of small businesses. We use an ACDBE neutral measures to achieve small business participation. There are no geographical restrictions. It's a nationwide market. And please note that all respondents must meet the requirements set forth in 49 CFR Part 23 and 26. What do we consider small businesses? The city defines a small business whose gross receipts do not exceed the Small Business Administration size standards. There are several codes that define trade areas and work categories, and different thresholds apply to those areas. We will use these thresholds to determine eligibility. Another factor is the personal net worth of the business owner or owners. The personal net worth cap is currently $2.047 million. That amount was adjusted in the 2024 Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Final Rule. The personal net worth cap is reviewed by the federal government and is subject to change. I will go over the small business eligibility verification process shortly. As stated earlier, all respondents must complete outreach. Failure to provide documentation of outreach activities will result in a rejection of the response. There are 3 forms which will be provided in the solicitation. They are EO1-200, EO2-200, and EO3-200. The current slide shows a sample of the EO1 form. This form affirms respondents' commitment to support the city's small business participation. Failure to support a signed EO1 form will result in a non-responsive submission. This form is due at the time of submittal. Within 60 days of the contract execution, the successful respondent will complete and submit forms EO2 and EO3. On EO2 form, the respondent will complete sections with information from all businesses that submitted proposals as part of the conducted outreach. There is a small business box. Selecting the small business box indicates that the respondent is submitting these businesses for small business utilization. If the box is checked, the respondent will complete additional sections with the required information and include supporting documentation. There is room for 2 businesses on each form, so please use as many forms as needed. On the EO3 form, the respondent will fill out the first 2 columns with information about the firms identified as small businesses on EO2, and the city will verify their eligibility for small business utilization. As a requirement of the Small Business Participation Plan, this 2-step process must be completed annually. So we have chosen the acronym ICE-T to help respondents remember the steps in the outreach requirement. The first step is to identify opportunities for small business participation. The second is the C, to conduct outreach for that participation. Third, evaluate small business participation. And finally, T, tell each small business that responded of your decision. This means you will let the firms that submitted proposals know whether you will or will not use them in this solicitation. This information that's gathered here is what you use to complete the forms mentioned in the previous slide. You must document all received proposals. In conclusion, we must comply with federal ACDBE neutral requirements, which means tracking and reporting all small business participation resulting from contracts, procurement, purchase orders, goods and services, or other arrangements involving sub-tier participation. This information and more must be entered monthly in the City of Phoenix Certification and Compliance System. That website may be found at phoenixgob2g.com. The final slide contains email addresses for the Equal Opportunity Department Small Business Support Division with the corresponding QR codes. Any questions regarding compliance or certification may be sent directly to the email address. The slide also has phone numbers in case you'd prefer to speak and talk to someone personally. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John. So at this time, we're at the Q&A portion of the session. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. We have someone here with a microphone that will hand that to you so that the people online can also hear. So we got one right here.
Thank you. On your timeline, when I saw dates, when it'll go to council, et cetera, I did not see, is there going to be presentations somewhere in there by companies, or is it just going to go the airport, you'll make the decision, and you'll move it forward? That's my first question.
To answer your first question, so within our solicitation posting, we will indicate that if there's interviews, we generally will put a placeholder in that schedule if we're going to do interviews. That will come out of the first evaluation portion that's in there. Typically with our panels, we kind of leave that also to the discretion of the evaluation panel if they want to have interviews, but we generally will put that in the schedule. So that will all be encapsulated in that schedule from the time of release until the time that we get to council approval.
Thank you. Second question, you had package A saying you would only be judged or the decision whether to move forward with your company, but you had package B. Is there any consideration for that as well? Or again, that's in addition to and has no bearing on the RCS itself?
Certainly, it's a great question. So package A is what you'll be evaluated for from the evaluation panel. Package B, we wanted to be able to understand what you thought innovatively that's there. That's not going to be shared with the evaluation panel because we are going to select you on package A as part of the evaluation. We will then want to discuss with you when we get to contracting about your package B elements for that. So we didn't want to leave that off the table of everyone being creative. We wanted to understand what your creativity is, but it will not be part of the evaluation panel to evaluate.
Okay, thank you.
If you have any questions online, please enter those in the chat.
I know there's 26 lovely people online. 32.
Oh, nice.
You're
So-
not at your limit, Greg. You can go all day.
Well, no, I'm trying to understand. You speak of sponsorships, and I've heard multiple times monetizing airport assets. Is there a list of airport assets that you want monetized, or is that to the creativity of the company that proposes to determine that? And then I want clear on the non-exclusive sponsorship component. So those are two questions.
So to answer your last question, the non-exclusivity means that the airport reserves the right if they want to enter into a sponsorship with a partner, that we can be able to do that. We will be mindful of if any of those partnerships that result in production of creatives that need to be posted, of being able to compensate our advertising partner to be able to do that. So we will limit that if we do that, any creatives that come out of that have to be installed at the airport. They will have to go through the advertising vendor to do that, to post those creatives. So we most recently did this with one that is there. And then as far as assets, I'll take this back to the team. I know we have mentioned some others through our business information meeting. I want to be mindful, this would be an example, including but not limited to what the airport has in mind about areas that we felt that there could be a natural sponsorship of those elements. So I'll review it with the team, and if we are able to do it, we'll be able to put that into the solicitation. But we don't want to limit that creativity that is there.
Thank you.
Jeff, I didn't overcommit us, did I? Okay. Half his job is to
right.
make sure I don't overcommit us.
No, you did good. Question, of course, DBE is up in the air, and hopefully that'll be more resolved by the time we get to this proposal. But what about SBE? Are there any requirements, minimum requirements?
Certainly. Great question. I'm going to look to John to be able to answer that. I know we've thought long and hard about this.
Yes, thank you for that question. So right now, the DBE program is running, and we do have an ACDBE program. When you mention SBE, I hope you're talking about the small business element. That's also within the DBE program. That is running, and that is why we are talking about small business participation. An ACDBE can be a small business, but again, any small business that fits within the SBA side standards will be vetted by the city and can be part of the utilization. There's no goal. We want you to come with as much utilization as you can, and we are using the small business element as our small business participation.
All right, good afternoon. To follow up on Gregory's question regarding Proposal A, will you be identifying locations and asking proposers how they would develop them, or will you be specifying how each location is to be proposed?
Another excellent question. So in package A, we're going to identify locations that the airport is comfortable with for advertising. We will leave it up to the proposers to tell us what method that is, whether that's static or digital. So we're going to leave that up to the proposers to say the method, because we'd also be looking at how that equates into the business plan, that equates into the operations plan that is there for that. Looking to the team, did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, excellent. And then am I correct to understand, and then we can propose package B, it is not to be considered, however, the winning proposer, if they had something that was not contemplated and is like, that looks cool, am I correct to understand then, after the contract's negotiated, the awarded proposer and the airport will work out what is actually done?
So let me make sure I'm understanding. So let's say in a scenario, we have two proposals that are received. We evaluate on package A between those two proposals. We have selected a recommended awardee. But if I'm hearing you correct, we liked elements that may have been in the non-winners package B. Or
The winners, I presume.
Oh, the winners package
yeah.
B, yes. So in the winners package B, yes, we would then work that out because we would,
Okay.
we want to be able to know what you are creatively thinking of. So we may not like everything, so we don't want to contractually bind you to everything, but we'd work out how do we want to make sure you move forward with the ones that we've approved.
Fabulous, thank you. And then,
Jeff and I have like role-played this multiple times through like what questions could be asked, so.
I think one point of clarification is that we would want that into the contract. So we wouldn't have the contract and then do the package B. We would approve the locations and then we would put it into the advertising program, into the contract.
okay, so that would be a part of the contract negotiation process.
Yes, yep.
Which leads to my final question for now. And that is, you said that the summer of '27 is when a new contract will be executed. When do you anticipate making a recommendation of award?
So as she's efforting there, when we actually release the solicitation, we may have a little bit more precision on the month that we're looking that's there, because we try to keep in mind of when we receive it, evaluations, and the whole calendar that's there.
I mean, would it be fair to say Q1 would probably be, based on this, it would probably be Q1?
For when the contract gets signed
No, for the question on an award.
on the award.
We would notify the proposer.
Oh, yes, yeah. So our normal process, we'll go through the evaluation. We would inform the recommended awardee, and then there is the approval process for the contract. Also knowing in that there is, by our procurement code, a period of time for protest. And depending on if there's protest, then there's a period of time for appeal. So that's why when we build out a schedule, just to manage expectations, getting it to council through that approval is that time. One thing that's really key for this solicitation is once we've gone to council, I believe we have an expectations within 30 days after council approval, the contract is signed.
You brought up something I thought about. What about if there's something really attractive that you want to do that's in one of the non-winners proposals as far as the B section?
Certainly. So as long as it is not what the proposer considers confidentiality or proprietary trade secrets, if there's an element that we did like of that, we would have that discussion with the awardee to see if that's even possible for that awardee to be able to do that. So we want to be mindful of any proprietary trademarks or secrets that's there of what they put in proposal B. Nobody from online? Oh, Greg has one more. Yeah. This is all good. This is why we have these.
Would the winning proposer be able to negotiate not installing all elements of Proposal A, then replacing them with Proposal B?
So I'm going to follow this. So in Proposal A, we have indicated all the locations that the airport is okay with advertising on that. I'm going to look to Jeff because we talked through this. So one of the,
Greg, can you repeat the question again? I just want to make sure we kind of got this down.
Would, excuse me, would the winning proposer be able to negotiate not installing all elements of Proposal A and then replacing them with Proposal B?
okay, so I'm going to,
I don't believe it is supposed to function that way. We are setting out the locations in Package A for the proposer to determine what they will install in those locations. Package B is really to be for new locations.
so I would do one caveat that's on there because keep in mind our Package A is what we think is the maximum number of advertising locations.
Right.
If you are proposing that you don't want to take all of Package A locations for a standard advertising program, but found a location that's in Package A that you would like to do something in Package B, you have to indicate that someplace in the Package B, that this was a location that was Package A, but we think this is better for this, right? That is not towards your other one. But you can't, like, once we have agreed on Package A of what you're going to be using, as we go through negotiations, say, no, I want to move that to Package B. Because
Right.
remember, Package B, we did not evaluate for the panel. So the panel evaluated your total Package A. So
Right.
at the time you submitted, if there's not all the locations in Package A that you want to use, you're going to have to disclose that as part of your proposal. Like, these are the locations we are saying we're not going to be, we don't feel we need to be able to use, right? Because you're going to explain that to us in your business plan, your marketing plan, and your operations plan of why you don't need to take the entire inventory to be able to meet our goals as an airport.
I think
But then
events-
if you put, but then if you identify some of those that you weren't going to take a Package A, you have to identify that then in your Package B over there so that for us, airport, we know they had a different thought on those locations. You can't come back to us later and say, I want to move people from A to B after we
Right.
did contract award, yeah.
I was told Roxanne restated it correctly.
I know it seems a little weird, but we're trying to give as much creativity even within package A for you guys to put your best foot forward on what you think would meet those, our goals without being very prescriptive of the type of devices that you want to be able to use.
Any other questions, either online or in the room?
Just want to clarify this point. I just want to make sure I'm getting this right so we don't have to do this through a Q&A process.
They'll come up during Q&A.
In option, so I'm just saying the solution is, let's say you have 10 total locations in package A and we see value in 9, but the 10th, we think we could do better. We can propose that 10th location to win the bid, but then in option B, in package B, we say, here's what we would propose as an alternative to the one location identified here. We're going to be able to do that in package B, is that correct?
Different on that. So if you like 9 out of the 10 and you tell me in package A, I'm going to take 9 out of the 10, the 10th one, we feel that we don't need to be able to support what we're putting forward. Okay. And your package B, you say the 10th location in package A, we would propose to do this. So that way the evaluation panel is looking at the totality of your program from package A. So it's not a numbers game, it is the quality, total quality of your package A that they are looking at. So that goes to your business plan, your marketing plan, because you're basically gonna tell us why you don't need that 10th location, because you feel that you can do a better job with these 9 locations that's there, right? The 10th location, we'd want from the staff perspective to know that you're looking at that 10th location over here, right? For that, so that we know, okay, that's where they were thinking about using the 10th location. So if you're awarded based on package A using 9 out of those locations, what you can't do is say that 9th location, I want to move that to package B because the evaluation panel evaluated you on the 9. That was the totality of the program that you were running. Does that make sense? Okay.
I believe so, but, yeah, I believe so. Is it okay to be asking these questions? Yeah. So if, let's say, instead of, I'll say we'll propose on all 10.
Okay.
But in option B, we really think this one location would be improved by doing this instead of that. We'll still do these 10. Is there going to be a mechanism to do that, or will that be explained with absolute clarity in the RCS so at least we'll know how to address that?
We'll explain it in clarity. We
Okay.
prefer not it to be an add alternate in B. We
Gotcha.
prefer it not to be an add alternate because we are only having the evaluation panel evaluate you on A, right?
Understood, okay.
Right. So we'd rather you say, we clearly think this 10th would be better off over here because the rest of this goes here, right?
All right, thank
But
you.
we'll clarify that. Annie and Kate will have a great job with my hypothetical examples throughout the document.
Sorry. No, it's good. Just for the record, 2 people were trying to use the chat online and they can't get in. So just for the record, but they can go send a question, right, in or something? That's what they're telling me. They couldn't get in.
Can you clarify, sorry, are they in the meeting or is it just having trouble accessing the chat?
No, they're online and they're trying to access the chat to send a question and they're saying it's not working.
Okay. I think we're trying to resolve that issue. Sometimes there's certain settings that maybe we need to fix on that end, but if there's anyone online that hasn't been able to ask a question, there is the bus stops email. You can send them in that way, and we'll make sure to follow up with folks after the meeting as well. Yeah, we're going to post all of the questions online. We've been taking notes of the ones in here, and any additional questions we'll also post online. All right. Well, if we don't have any questions online anymore in the room. All right. I think we're all set then. Just want to say thank you for joining us today, and we will be following up with you with all the materials from today's meeting sometime next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.